Hello, YouTube friends. My name is Margaret, and I wanted to come on here and talk to a lot of ladies about an epidemic that I've noticed that's been going around, or that I'm hearing about. Maybe it's been around for a long time, but I'm just now catching up to it about the epidemic of hair loss amongst women of color. Now, I know other ethnic backgrounds have probably experienced it too, but I want to talk about women of color because obviously I'm a woman of color and I'm experiencing hair loss. But what I wanted to do was just kind of talk about this epidemic and why we're, to me, I'm hearing more about it than ever. And maybe it's because of, YouTube. And I would like to say to all of the young ladies, all of the women who have shared their story on YouTube, thank you so much. And just by listening to so many of you, it has encouraged me to speak on the subject too. And I'm glad that we're able to have this dialogue and this conversation about hair loss. We've always talked about hair. We've always took pride in our hair and how our hair looked. Um, there, when a woman starts to lose her hair, it actually affects her psychic because our hair is, if you will, our glory. Um, and so I wanted to get on here and share and talk about it. Um, this epidemic that's affecting hair loss in the women of color uh, is really going around, and I hadn't heard much about it until probably the last 3 or 4 years. I've really been hearing more about it. Hair loss around the edges, hair loss around the nap, hair loss in the crown, or what they call balding crown. And we just go back in history for a minute. uh, as women of color, if I can just go back to history, we would keep our hair, a lot of us back in the slavery time, we kept our hair in scarves or in rags or tied up because of the coiliness and the wiry texture of our hair. And I read and saw some documentations where uh, back on the plantations, uh, the master's wife or mistress did not want to see our hair, so we had to cover it up and hide it. And the kiki nappy hair was considered bad hair, and I can remember as a child, you know, if you had straight hair or if you had curly hair or wavy hair, that was considered good hair. And so in my generation, you know, the more kinkier, the more wiry your hair was, the more your hair was considered you got bad hair. Or if you had wavy, straight, curly hair, you got good hair. And so we would keep our hair, well, back in the early 1900s, they kept the hair in ties. But then, uh, if they didn't know any, if they didn't know how to take care of their hair, now there has been some, and I don't know if this is, there's been some documentations where I saw where their hair were in braids and it was long, but they knew how to take care of it. But then came the straightening comb. Madam C.J. Walker made her millions off of that straightening comb because we bought into that. We as women of color, we wanted that straight hair, and you could get that straight hair by heating up that comb and straightening that hair, putting grease on it and straightening it out, and your hair was straight, and that's what we wanted. because in the back of our minds we wanted our hair straight and silky and flowing, blowing in the wind like other women from different cultures did. Um, I remember that straightening comb. As a child, my goodness, my hair was burnt, my ear was burnt, my neck was burnt, my side was burnt, and they put some butter on it and say go on, but we'd get ready for church and they got it. I mean, we had fried heads, basically. At least I did. But our hair was straight and we wanted it to be pretty. And then we wanted the curls in it. And we went through that whole stage. And it would stay for maybe 2 weeks. That is, if you didn't go swimming, if you stayed out of the rain, if you didn't sweat, because we didn't want our hair to go back, as they said. Girl, I can't let my hair go back. So we wouldn't even hardly get in a swimming pool to swim, and we sure didn't want to. We would sweat when we would work. But boy, we had that hair tied up, pin curl, hair rollers, everything in there, trying to maintain that straight look. Huh? And then came the perm. And we found out that we could get our hair straight and then go swimming or sweat or get out in the rain and the hair wouldn't go back. Boom, we bought into that. And so there we was. Not only we started. Now we're not putting a hot comb on our hair. Well, yes, we were doing that too. But we straightened it out and then we started putting chemicals on our hair. And then we would experience chemical burns. At least I did. The first time I got a perm, my head was on fire. My beautician didn't know you wasn't supposed to comb or scratch your hair before applying the chemical. And I had scabs in my scalp for days. But I wanted to be cute. I wanted my hair to be flowing and pretty. And I didn't have natural curly or natural wavy or natural straight hair. I had bad hair. Kinky, nappy, bad hair. That's the quote. Then back in the 70s came the afros. And some of us that could grow out these afros, I think there was a technique in that. But it kind of had a masculine look. And you were almost militant if you was wearing a fro, as they say, a fro. And some of us could have cute fros, and some of us, we couldn't wear fros. And my hair did not grow out to where I had what they call a nice fro. So we came out with the fro wig. So you throw the fro wig on, and you went through that movement of wearing the afro. Then came the my almighty Jerry curl, where you put the chemical in there and then you roll it up real tight, and it would stay for a long time. And you even got new growth, and that's because we would put this oil sheen on our hair and we would spray it, and we put that bag on the head to get the moisture, and that was the moisture that was in our hair. And for one reason, that was a good deal that we did with our hair then, because you just had to keep the oil on there. And I think that was one of the things that, well, at least my hair grew. I did it all, folks. And so then came the weave. So if you had short hair, you wanted long hair, you could get your hair as long as you wanted it. If you wanted waist length, you could have waist length. So we started weaving our hair. Then came the braids, and the Asian community has made billions, if not trillions of dollars off of braids and weaves, and we sewed it in, glued it in, braided it in, and we've done all that on top of our own hair. And we did that for the sake of, maintaining. We wanted to have hair that looked natural, hair that, you know, we didn't have to worry about having to press it out all the time. But at all the time that was going on, you know, another movement came along, which we, the natural hair, not the afro hair, but natural hair, meaning the kinkier it is, the better it is. And some people that had different textures hair, they could wear it and it had that natural curl look. And if your natural hair didn't take on that natural curl, then you, what we called a texturizer. I did that one too. I did the press and curl. I did the afro. I couldn't do the afro very long because my hair just did not grow in spots and it wasn't very pretty. At least I didn't know how to maintain it. I did the jerry curl and I did the weave and I did the braids. And so, and then I did the texturizer. And in the process of all of this that I've taken my hair through, and I've put the colors in, I've been red and I've been blonde and I've been black and I've been auburn and went through all of that. So out of all the years of what I've taken my hair through, I'm experiencing now hair loss. And I started experiencing hair loss probably back in 2012. Well, I decided back in 2010 that I was going to go natural. There was a slogan that came out, 2010, natural hair is in. And I made that decision that I was going to go natural and not put any more perms in my hair. One of the things that really, I got tired of going to the beauty salon when I was getting my perms, going to the beauty salons and being in the beauty salon for hours and hours, and they would shampoo you up and leave you sitting there for 2 or 3 hours, and you had someone to shampoo you, and then you had someone that would, um, you know, then you had to wait on the main beautician or the main person you went to see, and all she would do is just kind of style it, curl it and style it, and you didn't even, wasn't in her chair maybe 15 minutes. But you sit there all day. That, and then you pay out this enormous amount of money, and then you walk out the shop on a Saturday and your hair is beautiful, and you get up Sunday morning and your hair, you can't do nothing with it. Went through all of that. So that was one of the things that said I'm done with beauticians and the weave, trying to put the glue in, then you got to get it out and your hair is coming out when you're trying to take it out. When you pay to get it sewed in and you have to pay to get it taken out. All of that. Money, just, we spend a lot of money. The black community is probably the biggest, well, it is the biggest contribution to the hair business, it is. And y'all know that's trillions of dollars that people are making off our community. And I did a research to find out how many black owned and operated beauty supplies there was. And they supplied the products. We had our black industries like Dudley and the Bonner brothers. They came out. They made a lot of money, but they made theirs on the chemicals, getting our hair straight. And so now we're in the natural hair. And I tell you, everybody's trying to get in on that because you get butters and creams and oils and gels and spray and all of the monies that we're putting in on getting our hair to look good as naturals. Well, and I'm going to take this bonnet off and kind of let you see what I have experienced. And this is what I'm hearing about, and this is the main thing I want to talk about. And that's the epidemic of hair loss. I've heard in watching YouTube that many women, we wanted to get our hair back healthy, and so we went natural. And after a few years of going natural, or a few months or whatever, we start